Now, do you know that there is only one White Star Line ship that survives to this day?
There is one that survives to this day.
Yeah.
Is it still in service, or is it being used as a museum of sorts?
It's used as a museum of sorts. It's exactly where the Titanic Museum is, and here it is.
Oh, okay. All right.
Here is what is known as the Normatic.
I'll be darned. I remember reading about that ship. I didn't realize it was still around. I'll be darned.
Yeah. A couple, well, a few years, more than a few years ago, a couple of, I don't know how long ago, the French had this ship in one of their rivers, and basically it was rotting like mad. Mm-hmm. Nobody wanted to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And the Irish government said, look, if you're not going to look after this thing, we will, and we want it back.
Mm-hmm.
So they towed it to Belfast, and it's in dry dock as we speak right now. And it's actually is a museum piece. It was actually used as one of the tender ships to the Titanic itself from Cherbourg. So it went from Cherbourg to the actual Titanic, because at Cherbourg, the water level in the Cherbourg was too shallow for the Titanic.
Okay.
So this was used to ferry passengers to the Titanic from Cherbourg.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
So that's one picture. This is hopefully another. And you can just about see the museum in the background there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going miles too quick for everybody, aren't I? No, I'm not.
All right. No, you're doing fine. That's fine.
And let's have a look at this one. Yeah, this is the front of the ship.
Okay.
And as you say, you have to pay to get inside that as well. It's a shame. I've actually been in the museum, which is this one here.
Yeah.
So the museum is literally behind this Titanic sort of steel Titanic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, really good to actually go into the museum, because they take you on a sort of like a simulator, and they sort of start you off in the engine room.
Okay.
And they sort of simulate the engine room to the fact that it's extremely, very, very hot.
Yeah, yeah.
You only last for about 5 minutes, and then you have to sort of like exit the room, otherwise you're just like really hydrated. And you can sort of see the pistons and God knows what else going around. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
So that's that bit. And then they sort of take you to various other bits of the ship, like the bridge, and they take you to the third class section, and then obviously to the first class, and then they comparison between the two, between third class and first class, and the difference is phenomenal.
I'll bet.
So that's that one.
Did they get that right in the movie at least?
This is the actual museum.
Okay.
The museum itself, the actual height of the building is the same height as what the Titanic would have been.
I was wondering. I had a feeling that might be the case.
So it's exactly the same height as the Titanic. They built it for being that.
Yeah.
Now, with this photo, I'm not sure if you can physically see, there's two rusty iron railings going down the picture on the right, would I say? Can you see them?
I see. Let me see. I think I do see those.
Yeah, there's two rusty railings, and then there's just slightly off the camera, there's another two iron railings.
Okay.
That is the only bit that survives to this day that held the Titanic back from actually going into the water.
Ah, all right.
So these iron railings that you can physically see were there were chains linked to these iron railings, and when the Titanic was going into the water, it was basically trying to stop the Titanic crashing into the other side of the river, basically.
I see.
So that's the only bit that actually physically survives to this day of the slipway, and then there's like a plaque of where things would have been on the actual Titanic. Okay. It's not very clear, that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's basically sort of like I don't know, a map of various parts of the Titanic, and it's sort of drawn out on the actual slipway as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can sort of like, imagine that you're in a lifeboat, or you can imagine that you're walking in the midst of a funnel or something like that,
Right, right.
They physically sort of draw that on the actual slipway for you to explore.
Yeah.
And that, this hopefully should be slightly better. You can see those iron railings are slightly bit better there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, literally, I'm not sure if you can, because if I bring this up any more, it gets really, really pixely.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you can see the river in the background there.
You can.
So basically, these iron railings were stopping the Titanic hitting the other side of the river, basically. So that's that bit, and then let's just change the whole scenario and talk about, obviously, the radio side of things.
Okay.
A lot of people seem to think that White Star Line were employing these radio people to talk to other people. That wasn't the case.
Oh.
It wasn't White Star Line who employed these people. It was a radio operating company called Marconi.
Okay.
Have you heard of Marconi?
I have heard of Marconi. This is interesting.
So basically, they were employed by Marconi and not by the White Star Line.
Okay.
If it was employed by the White Star Line, it could have been a different kettle of fish, because there were a few iceberg warnings that didn't get to the bridge.
That's interesting.
Purely because of the fact that Marconi were more interested in sending in sort of traffic to Cape Cod, as it were, to more related with passengers, because they get more money that way. Because passengers had to pay to send messages.
I see.
So yeah.
So they were less interested in the free transmissions of White Star Line versus, like, Molly Brown wanting to contact somebody in New York, say, "Hey, I'll be there on Thursday."
Yeah, basically. So if Molly Brown wanted to send a message, she would have to pay the money.
Right.
But if White Star Line sort of like send messages, then they wouldn't get any money, basically.
Yeah.
So it's all to do with money at the end of the day.
Money versus safety and preservation of life. Okay. That's an easy choice. Jeez.
So at the time, I'm not sure if you could see this, but these were the nearest ships to the Titanic. So
was this at the time of the disaster?
Yeah, basically.
And all of those ships that close. I know this isn't done to scale, but that's interesting. There were quite a few ships.
Yeah.
That's not the impression you get from hearing the other stories or watching that damn movie.
Yeah. So let me just let's try a video now.
Alrighty.
Let's go to 1958. This was originally done in black and white, but I have managed, out of lovely wisdom, to transfer it into color.
You've colorized it?
I've colorized it.
Oh, no. Sacrilege. You should not colorize black and white films.
So here we go. Hopefully this works.
All right, here we go. From A Night to Remember, from the Carpathia, the message.
They say they always grow up to look like their mothers.
The older one's keener, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Why don't you try giving them both a miss this trip?
And take the mother out.
She might do worse by the side of it. You're heating my blood. I think I'll turn in. Sweet dreams.
Good night, Sparks.
There's a distress call just come through.
Who from?
The Titanic. They've struck a berg.
Here's the leg post, Master.
No, they've struck a berg. They want us to come at once. They're sinking.
The Titanic? Don't be a fool.
It's true. I'm going to the captain.
There's nothing inside. Take over.
Ah, sir. Sir!
What the devil's going? Haven't you learned to knock before you come in here?
It's a distress call, sir, from the Titanic. She's sinking.
I'm sorry, sir.
Mr. Dean, turn the ship round. Head northwest. I'll work the course out for you in a minute.
Aye, sir.
Now, Cotton. You're sure this is the Titanic?
Yes, sir.
Certain.
Absolutely.
All right, check back. Find out everything you can. Tell them we're coming as fast as possible.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we've contacted the Carpathia, eastbound from New York. She's on her way to us.
Well, how far away is she?
58 miles, sir. She's making all possible speed. Should reach us in 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yes, sir.
Well, what about that ship over there? About 10 miles away. You can see a light. Isn't she replying?
No, sir.
Well-
she'd blast our ears off if she did. Maybe she can't keep a 24-hour watch. Maybe she hasn't got wireless at all, sir.
All right, Bride, thank you. Mr. Moody.
Sir?
Tell Mr. Boxall to fire the distress rockets. 1 every 5 minutes from the port side.
Aye, sir.
Port side boats all swung out, sir. Shall I fill them?
Yes. Put the women and children in and lower away.
Aye, aye, sir.
Looked like a rocket, sir.
Yes. I wonder what a ship like that would want a fire rocket for.
You wonder, huh?
Yeah, you definitely wonder.
What a reaction, jeez. What a reaction.
So that's the 1958 one.
Yeah, yeah.
And about an hour before the radio messages got sent, the nearest ship to the Titanic basically turned around to them and said, look, we've stopped here because of ice and we can't go any further. And at the time, the radio operators on Titanic basically said, shut the fuck up.
Okay.
We are busy here trying to do traffic between Cape Race and them. So at that precise moment, the nearest ship turned off its transmitter gear and didn't hear the distress calls from the Titanic.
Wow.
Here is, if I give you the next link, here is basically a deleted scene from the 1997 film that never got showed about that scenario.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, the movie was so damn long with all that Jack and Rose stuff. I guess they figured they had to cut somewhere. So let's cut some factual information out for the love story.
Yeah.
Look at this one. He wants his private train to meet him. La-di-da. We'll be up all bloody night on this lot.
You'll be up all bloody night on that lot.
Oh, yeah? Sorry. You're joking.
Bloody hell.
Christ.
It's that idiot on the Californian.
Tell him to sod off.
I'll do more than that. Keep out. Shut up. I'm working. Cape Race.
arrogant bastard. I try and warn him about the ice, and he tells me to shut up. And listen to that spark. He must be right on top of us.
What's he sending now?
Poker. Business. Good. Ow. Well, that's it for me. I'm shutting down. Night.
God, it's bloody cool. You know, I can smell ice, you know. When it's there. Bollocks.
Okay.
So
wow.
That's a deleted scene from the 1997 film that never got showed. And to me, that probably was a mistake that they made from that 1997 film.
I would agree wholeheartedly with that. That was not a wise decision to drop that scene.
No.
But again, they needed to show, you know, the love story, the romance.
Yes. The romance.
Jeez.
Oh. I can't stand that film. I hate it so much. I was sitting there in the cinema because I watched it when it came out in the cinema, and I was thinking, God, it's so long to start off with.
Well, yeah, there is that to start with, yeah.
And it's just like half these things would never happen in real life.
Yeah.
It's just like, nah. Yeah. So anyway, so that's that. So